completely different from this story, which is hacking. And hacking of electronically run cars can also be done. That has been shown for the second time. Chinese security researchers were able to hack a Tesla Model X, turning on the brakes remotely and getting the doors and trunk to open and close while blinking the lights in time to music streamed from the car's radio, an effect they dubbed the unauthorized Xmas show. The complex hack involved sending malicious software through the car's web browser in a series of suspicious computer exploits. They were able to remotely control the car via both Wi-Fi and a cellular connection. The researchers informed Tesla of their discovery in June of this year, and the company patched the vulnerability within 2 weeks. In a statement, Tesla said it actively encourages this type of research so that it can prevent potential issues from occurring. The risk to customers from such exploits is very low, and Tesla has not seen a single customer ever affected by it. The statement said this is actually the second time in the year where they are doing this, and finally this has been done to check the effectivity of the overall hacking, which will help Tesla only. Well, that's an interesting point, and to talk more on this, I'm joined by my tech expert, Ankit Tuteja, for more on this. Good evening to you, Ankit. First of all, how do you read this, hacking of cars? So where do they go from here? Because the whole world is moving towards autonomous driving. How big is this risk?
Sumit, more than the car, I'm worried about internet-connected devices. It's just that we have come across an incident where this car has been hacked. Hackers have managed to hack into the car. But think about the scenario where we're moving towards internet-connected devices, and in a scenario where all of our devices, be it refrigerators, TVs, cars, everything is getting connected to the internet. And it's actually putting us at a risk, because hackers can easily remotely or easily they can hack into your devices, and they can manage your devices remotely from anywhere in the world. So, and today we are just talking about this car. Fortunately, Tesla acknowledged the incident and they have released a security patch, and the issue seems to have been resolved. But imagine how dangerous it could be. You are driving a car and someone manages to hack into your car, and they apply a brake when you're driving the car. It could lead to an accident at the same time. So more than this scenario in an auto space, I'm worried about the world where we are heading into, where we are moving to when we say internet connected devices.
So also, Ankit, just help us explain how this hacking could have happened as far as these autonomous cars are concerned.
Sumit, when you talk about any device, when you talk about any automobile, when you talk about these devices getting connected to the internet, it helps with the help of software. These software run these devices, and these softwares actually have firmware as well. So if you can bypass the security firmware, if you can bypass the softwares that run these devices, then it becomes easier for you to remotely control anything from anywhere in the world. So it's basically, you can say, a layer or a couple of layers, for better protection maybe, that hackers manage to bypass. And when you have got through those layers, of course you have access to all the data, you have access to all the controls.
Let's talk about the future of autonomous vehicles. All big tech players are developing the vehicles, the cars that can run themselves. But we are heading into a world where we don't know about regulation. What are the big risks associated with the autonomous driving?
Actually, it's a very interesting question, because today we are talking from the fuel part of the debate. For example, today countries like India, Netherlands, Norway, they are planning to do away with the petrol and diesel vehicles. They are planning to go for hybrid vehicles. We have had a couple of electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles on the roads as well. This is one step. But in the future, in the years to come, companies as well as people are aiming for self-driving cars, for which we have no regulations, no framework in place to govern those regulations, to govern the movements of those cars. So imagine now we have electric vehicles which are connected to the internet, being driven by people, by human beings. And such a scenario is actually posing dangers, is putting people at risk. Imagine a scenario when there would be no drivers, when cars would be driverless. How dangerous it could be, how fatal it could lead situations to.
Well, last week, Indian road minister said that in India it won't be allowed. Clearly, India has said no to all these autonomous vehicles. According to you, is it bad or good for India?
Ironically, we don't have better roads to have those cars on Indian roads. More than the technology, it's to do with the infrastructure, it's to do with the roads that we have. Such cars cannot exist, they don't have any possibility of survival. And talking about the technology, See, it's in a very nascent stage. When you talk about self-driving cars, it's in a very nascent stage. Even if you expect it in India, it would take more than a decade to come to India, even if not in a mainstream space. Even if you expect to see it in Indian roads, I don't think it's going to come before a decade or so.
And also, if you talk about the hacking overall as a procedure, so far we have seen less of hacking attacks happen on mobile phones, more of hacking attacks happening in banking and e-commerce space. What has kept mobile phones away from this hacking, which that can happen in other spaces, but very few cases we have seen on mobile?
So with no doubt that internet has been making our lives simpler. Technological advancements have been giving us better services to actually move around in the space that was otherwise not possible. But when you talk about the increase in cyber crimes, it becomes really difficult to ascertain if it's a boon or a bane. The internet is a boon or a bane, because all of your data, be it your communication, be it your financial details, be it your biometric details, be it your personal details, everything is now available online. And you never know what part of your details can be compromised and at what time. So, of course, people have been taking all the measures, have been taking all the steps to protect that data. But hackers are always a step ahead, because the way they understand the technology, normal people don't. If they manage to break into your data, if they manage to break into your financial details, you will get to know only after the damage has been done. So for that, I would say we need better infrastructure in terms of technology. We need to have better laws. Talking about India, we have weak laws, we have weak data protection laws in our country. So I would rather expect some stringent measures. I would rather expect some strong infrastructure in terms of technology for us to have a carefree internet life, online life.
And what about the cars which we drive, Ankit, which are not autonomous? They may be semi-autonomous, like the one I drive has a cruise control and some, software and all. So how much are we susceptible to these hackings? Are we at all or not at all?
It totally depends how much you are actually pairing your device with that software system. So for example, there are cars that actually let you play songs from your, just play it wirelessly, connected wirelessly, and you can play music, you can use voice commands to call people. So it depends what type of information, what kind of content you are sharing with the software. Given that kind of system, given the kind of technology in terms of the auto space that we have right now, data is not as much as at risk as you expect in fully automated cars. So in India, we are still there's still a long way to go for us to have a fully connected car.
All right, Ankit, thank you for talking to us and giving us such important perspective. And